Delighted to move on to our next speaker, who is another Ashton winner, this time more recently. So United Utilities won an Ashton Award for nature-based solutions for the work that they've done in partnership with the RSPB, the Wild Horse Water project in the Northwest. And we've got Johnny Phillips, who is their business development manager, who's going to talk about how United Utilities are maximising value from nature-based solutions through partnership working and a significant investment in this area. So over to you, Johnny.
Thank you very much, Emma. I'll just share my screen.
That looks good. You're now on mute. It's popped you on mute. It did this before, didn't it? There we go. I think we can hear you now. Perfect.
Excellent. Good morning, everyone. Yes, Johnny Phillips here from United Utilities. So I'm our business development manager for rainwater management. So previously been developing our surface water management strategies and rainwater management plans for this upcoming investment period between 2025 and 2030. So what I'm going to talk through today is a bit about us at UU, our team, what we do, some bits about how we're planning to engage with stakeholders. We've done some work beforehand, but really kind of facing into the big investment programs, how we're planning on trying to work with stakeholders in order to make our kind of plans and visions happen. So as we're in the Northwest, I just thought to give a quick background about United Utilities. Some of you may be really aware of who we are, but just for anyone who isn't, we supply water and wastewater services across the Northwest from Crewe to Carlisle. And really what we're looking at doing is delivering a stronger, greener and healthier Northwest. We've got really key challenges for our region, including growing population, climate change, diverse communities and growing expectations, of which I'll touch on, and some unique factors that we have as a result of being in the Northwest and our sort of largely industrial heritage and legacy. So infrastructure wise, some of the first combined sewer was laid in Liverpool in 1846 and James Newland. So we have an aging sort of infrastructure of which needs modernising, and therefore a lot of that sewer system is combined. So 54% on average, which is the highest of all water companies. We've got the most storm overflows, over 2,000 overflows, and that provides us with a really kind of important strategic ambition in that with the most amount of combined sewers, with 40% more urban rainfall than anywhere than the average UK, it's really important that we manage rainwater and we look to separate it out as opposed to continually sort of building and trying to build our way out of the problem. And the work that we've done over the past 5 years has led to this point in terms of what we're now going to be investing between 2025 and 2030. So we put these business cases through to the regulators as part of our price review submission and successfully got them and started delivering those in April of this year. So we've got a £231 million enhancement programme, investing pretty much what we would have been doing in the future for 2030 to 2050 to reduce the impact of storm overflows. But we're taking that money out of what would have been a hole in the ground and a concrete solution back out into the public realm as blue and green and nature-based solutions to deliver that wider environmental and societal benefit. And we believe by doing that, we're going to unlock another £50 million worth of partnership funding in order to do so. And that's supported through the IDOMP, which I'll come on to later, the integrated water management plans. We also made a secondary case to the regulators in addition to storm overflow impacts, is that we wanted to start to tackle the impacts of flooding as a result of climate change. So we secured £50 million as the first block from our 25-year drainage and wastewater management plan, making some of our most vulnerable catchments to flooding resilient to those impacts of climate change, which we're forecasting through to 2030. So they're based around Kendal, Lancaster, Preston, St Helens, Hazel Grove and Glossop. So a bit about how we're kind of thinking about stakeholder management. So water companies have powers to deliver sewers and drainage assets, but it doesn't necessarily extend to doing nature-based solutions, sustainable drainage and rainwater management. So we have to then work. It's essential that we work in partnership in order to do this. We have to be collaborative and work. So these are just some of the kind of stakeholders, and it goes from councils and departments of councils like we've got on there, all the way through to customers and retailers and business house associations. There's a lot of very broad range of ways of which we need to engage with stakeholders. And it boils down to sort of three key things. We want to show them, what have we done? Have we got a credible track record in terms of delivering these types of solutions? We want to share why it matters and why it's really important. Emma saying about the example around surface water flooding and getting people to kind of buy into that message. And then also thinking about how to shape the future together. So it's very much a joint journey that we go on with this, and that we want to go on it from there. So a bit about what we've done. So lots of different types of projects so far in the last 5 years. So we try and have the strategy of capturing rainwater where it lands and natural flood management, keep it in the uplands, attenuate it through sustainable drainage systems. However, that's only incrementally going to improve the capacity within our system. So we have to think about separation and replumbing our networks from combined into separate and foul, in surface and foul, and also being considerate about rainwater harvesting and reuse. So when we're collecting water, how are we reusing it? So rainwater management is kind of our umbrella term, excuse the pun, around all these different ways of managing rain where it falls. Some of these examples here are by the property level, public realm, schools, initiatives like Unpave the Way, and green and blue roofs as well, of which I'll come a little bit onto now. The kind of what we've done in AMP7 was mostly focused around our green recovery work. So as part of our green recovery work, we delivered 15 projects with a £9 million investment. That generated over £50 million worth of natural capital, and that was done in the Eden catchment, in the Fowl catchment, in Greater Manchester as well, and really provides that kind of credible base of some of the projects that Paul touched on as well that he's delivered on our behalf of that, in terms of actually showing that these solutions and the benefits that they really do provide. So that was really good. And also what we've been looking at this year now is thinking about how we're engaging more with communities. So kind of almost bringing the solution to their front doorstep, as has just been alluded to. So we've been thinking about how do we have incentives in order to support that. So in some areas we've been providing different types of planters, and that would provide you with a chance to win your water bill for free, to have no incentive, to have 50 or £100 depending on the front and or back roof or both roofs, and also community level incentives as well. So the more that people in a community take up the offer to have a water bill, the more of a discount they'd be able to get on a surface water bill. So really try and test in different ways in which we can incentivize communities to get involved at the outset, so that when we then come into the communities, that we can then go and do that successfully. And why does it matter when we're sharing it with stakeholders? Very much so, we're getting more rain. With that more rain, we've got more expectation in terms of the environment, and more transformation required across the Northwest in terms of how we're changing the landscape and how normal streets need to be climate resilient. So we're at that sort of turning point within the industry. And this program of works that we've got really enables that kind of generational change of unlocking investment in terms of what we've got to do and spend and work. In terms of how we're shaping the future together then, we've adopted a 5-county approach. So we're trying to be a lot more place-based, a lot more place-based focused, and we're also drawing in integrated water management philosophy. So we've got an integrated water management plan in place with Greater Manchester and the Environment Agency, of which is mature now, and that we're really kind of able to then bear the fruits of that in terms of how we engage with the stakeholders across the combined authority and that joint working. We've also then developing that in other places such as Liverpool City region, Crewe and Carlisle. So we're trying to take the approach around place-based integrated water management, bringing partners together to deliver wider benefits all across the Northwest, which is really exciting for us to be able to do, and makes it much more relevant for the stakeholders who we're talking to around tackling those issues within their specific geographies. And lastly, really, was just talking about the Sustainable Water Fund. So as part of that £231 million investment, we have now just launched an initial £9 million fund for local authorities to have access to capital funding in order to deliver these types of things. So this is very much to enable things that where it might not have been able to be funded before. We're saying that if you can separate out a hectare of area, then we can provide £500,000 in contribution towards that solution, which is really developing what the learning that we had with green recovery, making it transparent and fairly simple in order to access that money. And we're then delivering that long-term change around systematically removing rainwater from combined sewers, getting foul water to our treatment plants, and getting rainwater back to the environment. So if this works, this is a quick kind of just a video around that.
United Utilities Sustainable Water Fund provides councils with access to funding to deliver rainwater management solutions in helping to build a stronger, more resilient Northwest. Through the use of water-retaining plants and permeable pavements, we are helping to slow the flow of rainwater and creating green spaces for people in our local towns and villages. Disconnecting rainwater from the sewage and sending it directly to ponds or streams allows us to better manage surface runoff.
And so, yes, that's kind of just illustrating what we've got. It's all available on our website for Sustainable Water Fund. So with a lot of local authorities on here, that's where you can get some more information. You've also got our email address here to hear about what we're doing in those specific climate resilience areas as well. We will be doing master plans for SUDs at council and local authority level for where we are delivering some of these bigger projects. So saw comments about Bolton as well. That's another one of our big projects that we're going to be looking at doing there. So absolutely, any kind of community level work, any projects, we really want to hear about all the work that you're doing. And yeah, please get in touch or ask any further questions if you've got anything.
Thanks so much.